All right, it's Tuesday, and that means it is Tuesday tier rankings. We are looking at every starting quarterback from week 6, and we are putting them into one of these 5 tiers based on their week 6 performance. Every starting quarterback, obviously Sam Darnold, Snoop Huntley, Pat Mahomes, Matt Stafford were on bye weeks this week, so of course they are not included. We are starting in the NFC West with the Thursday nighter from last week, Seahawks 49ers. Geno Smith, the life has come at the Seahawks pretty fast. They were 3-0. Everything felt great for them. Now they've lost 3 straight, and those good vibes have vanished. I still think Geno was good, though. I still think, Geno Smith, he puts up the numbers yards-wise, but also, I never in an NFL, and keep in mind I'm a Titans fan, so I'm coming at this as somebody that has to watch Will Levis every week. Geno Smith, I never feel like he's just a total disaster. I never feel like, oh man, Geno's holding this team back. I feel like Geno's usually good. Brock Purdy for the 49ers, you know what? I thought Brock Purdy was great. I think all of the discussion about whether Brock Purdy is actually good or not, I think that's just a bunch of nonsense. I think Brock Purdy's doing a great job. He's not just benefiting from having all of the great talent around him. Although that's great to have, I think Brock Purdy's just a really solid quarterback. And I thought he was great on Thursday night against the Seahawks. Kyler Murray, here's the thing. I thought Kyler was fine against Green Bay. It's just, Green Bay just has a much better roster than Arizona, and it showed. You know, the offensive line for Arizona seemed overwhelmed. They just have good players in Green Bay. They just have good players and good coaches, and this was a lopsided score because most times this season, if the Packers and Cardinals play each other, it's probably going to go the Packers' way. It's probably going to go the Packers' way when they play a lot of people because they're just good. They're just good, and they're better than Arizona, and it showed. Aiden O'Connell with the Raiders. Listen. The guy's not a starting NFL quarterback. He's not. They're in an impossible situation. They've traded Devontae Adams now. They're looking to the future, and Aiden O'Connell's not the future, and neither is Gardner Minshew. But, for what they needed, he was fine. He is going to be viewed as a serviceable backup quarterback. You shouldn't expect him to go out there and put up Joe Burrow numbers or anything like that, because he is who he is. He's a backup quarterback who's having to start because they don't really have any other options. It just is. He's might be better than Minshew, I guess, but it is what it is. For what he is, and for what they expect from him, he was fine, but the team's not good. Justin Herbert, coming off of a bye, they get a big division win. I would say Herbert was good. Thought Herbert was good. J.K. Dobbins had nearly 100 yards rushing. He's just been a beast this year. Justin Herbert, even in their victories, he hasn't had to do a lot, but I feel like Herbert was good. He looked a little more like the Justin Herbert that we've come to know. So I thought Herbert was good. Bo Nix, you know what? I thought Bo was good too. I think Bo Nix, this is why I get so aggravated with Will Levis in Nashville, because yes, Bo Nix, for example, he's young, he's struggling to find his way, but you can see him improving. You can see him starting to get things that he didn't get a month ago. And I'm not seeing that with our guy. I thought Bo Nix was good. And if I'm a Broncos fan, I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I would be encouraged about Bo. Dak Prescott. It was a bad day in Dallas. Dak Prescott goes into the trash this week. The Dallas Cowboys go into the trash this week. Y'all need to go listen to that song that Cowboys fan made about them on TikTok. If you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. It is fantastic. Dak was horrible, especially when you consider the money he's getting paid. They just, whatever good feelings anybody had. I had them ranked in the top 10 last week on my power rankings. Not this week, I guarantee you that. Jaden Daniels, who has just been sensational, had his biggest test against the Ravens. And considering the circumstances, I still think he was great. They lost, but if you're a Commanders fan, I don't think you're any more discouraged about this guy because of this. Was it as pretty as some of the former games that he had this season? No, because they lost. But for what this stage was, this was his biggest test yet, and I thought he delivered. Was it perfect? No, it never is. Well, with him it has been in the past, but I still thought he was great. Jalen Hurts, I mean, they were going against the Browns. I thought Jalen was good. You can tell he's got to be happy to have AJ and Devontae Smith back in the lineup. He was missing them. He's got them back, and he looks better with them on the field. Imagine that. Your top 2 wide receivers are back. I still think their coach is a goofball, but Jalen Hurts looked better, and I think the Eagles, of course, are going to look better when their best weapons are in the game. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones was poor. I mean, I have went to bat for Daniel Jones so far this season, because overall I don't think that Daniel Jones has been as bad as some people think. But Sunday night, I mean, they only scored 7 points. They had opportunities to get into this game with the Bengals, and they couldn't take it. The offense was just really bad. And Daniel Jones, yeah, not good. Josh Allen on Monday Night Football. I thought Josh Allen was great. I mean, listen. The Bills made the trade today for Cooper. The Bills hosting the Titans this Sunday. May God have mercy on our souls. But I thought Josh Allen, I mean, just obviously the throw rolling out to his right and throwing across his body. I mean, he's just a master at that. And the Bills, you give their wide receiving group to just about any other quarterback in the league, and you're not going to get good production. But Josh Allen just makes it work. He's a freak. Drake May making his first start in the NFL, and for what it was, I thought he was good. I mean, this is Drake May in his first start going up against Houston. I mean, that's not exactly the best situation to be in, but I thought he held his own. I thought he was good. When you consider the circumstances, I thought Drake May was good. Not a lot of talent around him, going against one of the better teams in the league. I thought Drake May held up well. They lost. I think we all knew they were probably going to lose. But he held up okay. And you know what? Like I said about the Broncos with Bo Nix, if I'm a Patriots fan, I'm feeling encouraged about him just after that first performance. Aaron Rodgers in a losing effort, I still thought Aaron Rodgers was great. I mean, this was, the Hail Mary going into the half. He's just the greatest Hail Mary quarterback of all time. And now he's going to have Devontae Adams. The Jets obviously struggling. They're 2-4. But I think that Aaron Rodgers was still great. I thought he looked like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you had the throw to Lazard down the seam. I don't even know how he got it there. The referees were the story of this game, and I can't even get into that right now. Caleb Williams with the Bears. Thought he was great. I thought Caleb Williams was great over there in London against Jacksonville. Threw for 4 touchdowns. And this was the Caleb Williams that everybody was wanting. And he appears, again, it's why I get so aggravated with Will Levis when I see other young quarterbacks who were struggling, who are improving, who are getting better. Caleb Williams is one of those. Thought he was great Sunday. Jared Goff, when your team beats another team at their place 47-9, I mean, goodness gracious. Jared Goff was great. I thought, come on. This guy and the whole team, they're just rolling. Detroit. Jordan Love, I thought he was great. Look at the NFC North. You want to talk about best division in football? The Bears 4-2, the Lions 4-1, the Packers 4-2. All of their quarterbacks in the great tier, and the team that was off this week is 5-0. That division, they might all make the playoffs. But I thought Jordan Love was great this week. There's a reason why the Packers absolutely obliterated the Cardinals. Jordan Love was, he's getting better and better, coming back from that injury. He's back to form. He was great. Joe Burrow, I thought Burrow was fine. Obviously, he had the long run for a touchdown. They held on to beat a Giants team that's probably mostly bad. They beat them 17-7. Burrow didn't do too much great stuff through the air, but like I said, he had the long touchdown run. He didn't do anything terrible. So Burrow goes into the fine category this week. They won. They had to win this game. Justin Fields, who has been benched after his team wiped the floor with the Raiders. I thought Fields was fine, and I'm tempted to put him into good because he did have 2 touchdowns rushing. Through the air, it was so-so, but he had 2 touchdowns on the ground, about 60 yards rushing. But, I mean, they're 4-2, and they're going away from the guy that helped them get to 4-2. I think that could be a huge mistake. They're going to Russell Wilson. I thought Justin Fields was fine. He's been at least fine every week. There's been some weeks where he's been in the good tier. I think even great a time or two. I'll tell you who's not great, and that's Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Watson, once again, he's a repeat offender. That's a bad term to use, but he's back in the trash. He's in the trash again. The Cleveland Browns are in the trash again. Worst contract in the history of sports. I don't know what direction you even go in if you're them. Deshaun Watson, trash. Lamar Jackson, you got to be kidding me. This guy is playing at such a high level, and I'm going to make myself, you know what, I'm going to put myself down here so that you can see him. This guy is playing at such a high level right now. You think he isn't benefiting from having a beast like Derrick Henry there with him? This guy, and if I mean, they didn't land Devontae Adams, but DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to be available. So, I mean, if they land a wide receiver in a trade or something, I mean, you look out because this guy's playing at an unbelievable level right now, especially these last couple of weeks. Baker Mayfield. This was a tricky one because he did throw 3 interceptions. So it's like, what do you do with this guy? But you know what? He threw 4 touchdowns. They put up over 50 points. This was a wild game, especially in the first half. I thought Baker was great. Yes, the 3 interceptions, but ultimately they put up 51 points. They put up a 50 burger. And I thought Baker was great. I mean, this guy is just, I've said it before, he has found himself a home in Tampa Bay. Kirk Cousins, thought Cousins was good. I mean, Kirk Cousins absolutely did more than enough. I mean, they were playing the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, you know, they won by a few scores. He just a basic, good Kirk Cousins performance. Nothing wrong with it at all. Andy Dalton, I mean, poor. But the Carolina Panthers, I mean, it's just, okay, you benched Bryce Young to go with this guy, and with the exception of one game, you look to be just as bad. So what have you really gained here? May as well put Bryce back in there and let him get the reps. Like, you know, Andy Dalton, I thought was poor. Spencer Rattler making his debut for the Saints. I thought Rattler was good. I thought Spencer Rattler was very good for the Saints. And I know Derek Carr is going to be out a couple more weeks, but why would you even go back to him at this point? I mean, why not just see what you've got with Spencer Rattler for the rest of the season? Come on. I thought Spencer Rattler was good, and I knew that the Saints would end up, for one reason or another, going with him at some point. We are to the AFC South with Joe Flacco. I saw it firsthand. Joe Flacco was good. Joe Flacco was good, and it's an interesting position for the Colts. It's the position that is similar, unfortunately, to my Titans, but even more so. I mean, they've got a backup quarterback who's playing really well. You've got a starter who's been hurt and is now ready to come back that you drafted number 4 overall. People are going to say you should stick with Flacco because he's playing so well, but then you what do you do with Richardson? It's a weird spot to be in, but I think Joe Flacco has just been really good since he took over for Indianapolis. I think they're a better team with him. I get it. I get Anthony Richardson. I get it, hopes and dreams. I get it. Number 4 overall. You've got to go with him. You don't have a future with Joe Flacco, even though he's played so well. How dumb is Cleveland, by the way, that they got rid of Flacco? I wonder if somebody would try to trade for Joe Flacco. I mean, come on. Trevor Lawrence. I thought Trevor was fine. I actually think Trevor, at least on Sunday, Trevor is just not the biggest problem in Jacksonville. I mean, You got dropped touchdowns. You got coaching issues. Now they've traded a defensive tackle that's pretty good that makes you think they might be getting ready to just tank the thing. Gabe Davis dropped a touchdown. I mean, I think there was some other drops that could have been touchdowns. So I think Trevor was fine. I know you probably, if you're a Jaguars fan, you still want him to be better because you paid him so much money. But I thought Trevor was fine. C.J. Stroud was good. I mean, C.J. Stroud's consistently good. Against New England on Sunday, nothing wrong with anything he did. And they're 5-1, so they're cruising through this season. And last but not least, Will Levis. If you've listened to the podcast, if you've listened to my thoughts, you already know exactly where I stand. Trash. 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 I hate it. But that is where we stand. In the great tier, Brock Purdy, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield. In the good category, Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Drake May, Kirk Cousins, Spencer Rattler, Joe Flacco, and C.J. Stroud. In the fine category, Kyler Murray, Aiden O'Connell, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Keep in mind, Aiden O'Connell's there just because of what's expected from him. I take that into account. In the poor category, Daniel Jones and Andy Dalton. And in the trash, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, and Will Levis. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a good week, everybody. Tighten up. Bye.